My grandfather was a farmer, but a very small-scale farmer where he had his own farm that he fed his family with. And so we're definitely entering into a slightly different world than what we've been used to. And so what we do is we listen very carefully to folks who know what they're talking about and mentors who've been able to guide us along some of the tricky challenges.
Yeah, we've been in AgTech now for over 2 years, and at least twice a week, 3 times a week, we're out in the fields in Salinas. And so that feedback loop, where we're technologists at heart. Our team, we have an amazing team to help accomplish that. But we also make sure that we're getting in that feedback from directly from our customer base, the growers, who are in desperate need of this technology, and bringing that back to our team. So we are making the products, making our technology fit the needs of the growers.
In Salinas, agriculture is very traditional, and so even though they do these processes that are very lengthy, it's because they're used to it. And so even though it takes longer, they know it's right because they've been doing it for so long.
In general, farming still uses paper to track things, and the reason for that is because some of their processes, timekeeping especially, is pretty complex. And even more complex in this area because the crop is rotating 2 or 3 times a year. So our company, we do equipment tracking, timekeeping, and field scouting right now. It's a mobile app. We don't have any extra hardware. That's another thing that makes us unique. So all the data collection is just through your smartphone.
I was studying computer science, and then I did work in ag, and I wanted to stay in the area. Everyone that I graduated with has had to leave the Salinas Valley to find a job, and I was lucky enough to find one here. What makes us unique is knowing the ag side and knowing their processes, and I guess having some connections with the growers already.
My parents are immigrants, and they were field workers when they came to the US. I've always kind of been around it. My dad started his own produce company when I was younger, and so just kind of growing up around it.
Having connection with our customers, with our growers, and with the valley. We don't want to come in and show them this is what you need to do. We're also learning with them, so a lot of it was a learning process.
Would you change anything right now as it is?
Yeah, but like the
would you
same
rather
structure
have
is just like opposite,
Yeah, so the same flow, like
Yeah.
1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
and then
Trying to implement that software and telling them we can give them something that works that's better. They've also had other companies come in and say that, but a lot of times it's been companies from Silicon Valley or areas that aren't huge on ag, so they come in from a different perspective. And so what makes us unique is knowing the ag side and knowing their processes, and I guess having some connections with the growers already.
Yeah, once we start messing with it, for sure we'll have more feedback.
yeah,
We'll break it. But you guys will make it better.
yeah, I think so.
And growers speak to growers and say, this is working, and we grow from there.
Only after I spent days, shadowing a grower that I realized this is really, really hard work. And I had a very different kind of appreciation of, the food or the produce I buy now. AgShift in agriculture technology. We want to solve some very real problems which are facing the small and medium commercial farms. We just moved out from a smaller office, and we are in the process of getting a bigger office, which is the reason why we are doing this shoot at my home. We have built a platform or a system which helps growers make much better decisions on their farm. So if you look at an organic farm of any profile, typically you'll find that they are growing more than 10 or 15 crops at a time. So what the system does is puts a lot of data and technology to work and helps growers understand your true cost of growing 1 pound of carrot is $4 per pound versus the cost of growing something else is this much. It helps them make many different decisions which before something like AgShift was just based on intuition. And we will then take all that data and automate the compliance reporting for them. Especially organic farm, but even local farms, you're usually dealing with 20 or 30 different kinds of reports which you have to do. It's very time consuming. A similar analogy would be TurboTax. I think we are at a right point where we can put a lot of these innovations to work, to make small farms more sustainable and hence help, what we are really trying to accomplish as a society. When we say we have to feed 10 billion people by 2040,
I came here from Vietnam as a refugee. Growing up in Vietnam, I've seen the war and witnessing the cost of malnutrition in children and in women. I decided I would look for a solution, a more like a food-based solution for the problem of vitamin A deficiency, which is quite prevalent in Vietnam. Vitamin A deficiency disorders is just easy to solve, but it's still so prevalent. Vitamin A deficiency compromises the immunity system. It's very important in normal growth of children, but also for eye health. In Vietnam and other places where vitamin A deficiency disorders is quite prevalent, you can see a lot of women when they get older and they have night blindness, called xerophthalmia, and that's irreversible. So I decided that northern Vietnam would be the study area, and when I went back there, I realized that meat and fish were quite expensive, and that is the natural source of vitamin A. And I identified it among the fruit and vegetable that people have. Red melon, the fruit to me that stand out, that's the red melon. And when I was little in Saigon, I know that my mother usually, at that time, she would get the fruit and dye the rice with it, make it red rice. And the color of it is so strikingly red. And that's the color of beta-carotene. So beta-carotene actually is the precursor of vitamin A. I just have the hunch that the fruit was really rich in carotenoids. The source of lycopene in this country is tomatoes. And the source of beta-carotene in the Western diet is carrot. Red melon contains 70 times more lycopene than tomatoes, and 10 times more beta-carotene than carrot. I came up with a way so that the farmers can then use whatever they have to make the oil, and then keep that oil in their household. Most of the growers in Vietnam are actually women. So my goal is to give back to the growers in Vietnam by providing the market for the products from red melon so that they can continue growing it. I intend to use a percentage of the proceeds, the revenues of red melon oil to help the growers of Vietnam. Also, I think investors would not want to take risk in an idea. And to implement this idea, you do need capital. At the beginning, basically, I feel like I work alone a lot. And so my goal is still to be able to find team members and colleagues and a network of people that in this similar field.
A lot of women in technology. If you look at the ratios, many of them drop out.